Let's have an next meeting. Our speaker name. Patrick, I'm at it. Oh, tired as shit. Luckily I just have a script, but I did want to thank, I'm tired because of the weekend and the amazing experience of running programming and being a part of this committee and putting all this together. It's a lot. So I want to thank the CPP and the board and everybody that came and made Grant 41 amazing. Like I said, I'm tired, so that's all. May I have your attention, please, for our statement regarding the press. Statement to members regarding the press. As our 11th tradition says, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. The primary purpose of our public relations efforts is to tell the story of Narcotics Anonymous and what our program offers to the still suffering addict. Members of the press are often attracted to our convention, and we welcome their interest. However, we do not disclose our last names in the media as identifiable members of Narcotics Anonymous. Members of the press approach you, please direct them to the members of the convention planning panel, the GRC Inc. Board of Directors, Board of Public Relations in the Abington Room. Statement to the media. Any members of the media are present, we ask that you contact the members of the convention planning panel, the GRIT Inc. Board of Directors or Public Relations in the Abington Room. My name is Patrick and I'm an addict. Hey, welcome to Grant 41, Together We Grow.
Read this. All right, I'm Tiffany, I'm an addict. All right, since Grid 41, no, what am I reading right here? Since Grid 41 is the region's, Georgia region's second Harvard convention, allow me to address the issue of anonymity for those joining us online. When joining a virtual meeting, you will need to keep your video turned off to guarantee your anonymity. If you turn your video on, you're choosing to be seen by other participants. You can also change your name or switch your first name to plus your last initial to protect your identity. And I don't see that it says to make sure that you dress appropriately, but I still want to go that stuff at the end. Oh yeah. Let's open with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Our intention for this convention is to make available to our fellowship a weekend of recovery, celebration, and fun. We hope that all addicts receive the NA message of recovery while they are participating in this event. It is our hope that the message we carry may truly let everyone know that NA is a place to recover and that no addict seeking recovery need die from addiction. If you're joining us virtually, this is where it says dress appropriately. And dress appropriately in here too, please. We asked that, okay, Patrick has asked an addict to read. Who is an addict? Okay.
Yeah, I guess usually they're up here. I'm passing on. I don't know what happened.
Hey, so anyway, I'm Kelsey and I'm an addict. Who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another, the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death.
What is the NA program? My name is Christian. I'm an addict. What is the Narcotics Anonymous program? NA is a nonprofit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There is only one requirement for membership: the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We're not interested in what or how much you used, who your connections were, what you've done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean. Why are we here?
Hi, Marco, I'm an addict. Why are we here? Before coming to the fellowship of NA, we could not manage our own lives. We could not live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different, and we thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction, we were slowly committing suicide. But addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, and psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffered from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point and recovery is then possible.
How it works? My name is Brian, I'm an addict. Hey, look how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make these efforts to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This sounds like a big order. We can't do this all at once. We didn't become addicts in one day, so remember, even better, there is one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery.
This is an attitude of indifference or intolerance toward spiritual principles. Three of these that are indispensable are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With these, we are well on our way. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic, for the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. We feel that our way is practical, for one addict can best understand and help another addict. We believe that the sooner we face our problems within our societies and everyday living, just that much faster do we become acceptable, responsible, and productive members of that society. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you're like us, you know that one is too many and the time is never enough. We put great emphasis on this, but we know that when drugs in any form are substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before we came to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we cannot afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people with the disease of addiction who must abstain from all drugs in order to recover.
All traditions.
Wow. You got both.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, family. My name is John. I'm an addict. And these are the 12 traditions of NA. We keep what we have, only with vigilance. It's just as freedom for the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom for the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that are cherished apart, all will be well. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there's but one ultimate authority. A loving God, as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. 3, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or NA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6, an NA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise. Less problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, decline outside contributions. 8, Narcotics Anonymous remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, NA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible for those they serve. 10, Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the NA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Understanding these traditions comes slowly over a period of time. We pick up information as we talk to members who visit various groups. It usually is until we get involved with service that someone points out that personal recovery depends on NA unity, and that unity depends on how well we follow our traditions. The 12 traditions of NA are not negotiable. They are the guidelines that keep our fellowship alive and free. By following these guidelines in our dealings with others and society at large, we avoid many problems. That is not to say that our traditions eliminate all problems. We still have to face difficulties as they arise. Communication problems, difference of opinions, internal controversies, and troubles with individuals and groups outside the fellowship. However, when we apply these principles, we avoid some of the pitfalls. Many of our problems are like those that our predecessors had to face. Their hard-won experience gave birth to the traditions, and our own experience has shown that these principles are just as valid today as they were when these traditions were formulated. Our traditions protect us from the internal and external forces that could destroy us. They are truly ties that bind us together as long as we understand and application that they work.
This for today.
You also help with programming, so let's.
They aren't
My
going
name's
anywhere.
Nikki, I'm an addict. Just for today, tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using, and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
We do recover.
I'm AJ, I'm an addict. We do recover. When at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative, either go on as best as we can to the bitter ends, jails, institutions of death, or find a new way to live. In years gone by, very few addicts ever had this last choice. Those who are addicted today are more fortunate. For the first time in man's entire history, a simple way has been proven itself in the lives of many addicts. It is available to us all. This is a simple, spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous.
Patrick, I'm not. Yep. Should hold off on that part. Our speaker this morning is Teresa H. from Atlanta. He's gonna have Rhea introduce her. Rhea.
Thank you. I'm an addict. My name is Rhea. And thank the God of my understanding for introducing me to Narcotics Anonymous. Narcotics Anonymous, thank you for giving me back the God of my understanding. So y'all didn't come here to hear me. And Teresa, of course, 5 minutes ago asked me to introduce her because, you know, she didn't want me to write a speech. I live in Tallahassee, Florida. Teresa has been my sponsor for 12 years, almost 13. And this is a program that's based on attraction rather than promotion. And what has attracted me to Teresa is her spirituality. When I got Teresa as my sponsor, I followed her around, okay, I stalked her for about 7 years. And I got every tape she ever made. That's back when they had tape. I got every CD she made. Every time I went to a convention, because I've known her for 22 years. I went to her workshop. I watched her good. And what I saw was the God in her. I saw how God worked in her. And let me tell you the kind of sponsor Teresa is. Teresa never gives suggestions. She offers experience. If she doesn't have that experience, she sends you to the literature or she'll tell you to try to find somebody who does. She never, ever, ever tries to give you relationship counseling or job counseling or school or anything. She follows the literature and she is about that literature. We have a group study every other Wednesday, and we're reading out of the literature and coming from the literature and sharing our experience. And it changed. If y'all don't know, Tallahassee is about as big as this building, and so the recovery is not strong. It's not okay. It's okay. But anyway, so that lifeline that I have has helped to maintain and keep my recovery strong. And I'm gonna tell you, Teresa, I love you. I love you. My wife loves you. and we are so grateful for you for staying clean, staying here, and staying in the literature. I give to you Teresa H.
I'm Teresa Madden. First of all, I'd like to thank God of my understanding for allowing me another day clean. Ooh, oh, there's a lot of people in here. They just not sitting together. I told my sponsee, I said, I gotta go use the restroom. She said, no, you don't. Sit down. God. You know, sharing is risky business. That's the way I look at it. You know, my clean date is 12/10 for 1989. Now, I didn't look like this when I came around. I didn't smell like this. I had some strange mannerisms. I have been reduced to animalism. I crossed every line that I said I wouldn't cross. To get that next. You know, I started out, first of all, I'd like to thank Gretna 41. You know, I had a feeling. I served with Gretna since 2009. First couple of years, I was a gopher. I did everything. I wasn't even on the committee. I did everything they wanted me to do. And then one day, you know, they vote that you can't deal with the money if you're not on the committee or whatever, sir. Shoot, they were like, oh, shoot, don't sit down and do this because you've been here so much. You're just like you're on the committee. And it made me feel real good. Real good. And the only reason why I didn't want to commit, because you had to make 12 meetings and go all over Georgia, you know, but I finally committed and stepped up and started serving, you know, and I got out of my own way. Yeah. You know, because you all didn't look like me. Most of you, your body, your cut wasn't the same color my body, but your spirit. Your spirit. See, when I stopped looking at it with this eyesight and looking at it from a spiritual eyesight, it doesn't even matter. It's like right now, if I close my eyes and not see what you look like, how tall, how short, how little, just look at your spirit. The God in me touched the God in you. And that's what I had tapped into. And I know I needed a little bit more. I needed to get out of my way and get out the box.
Thank you.
And that was hard. I wouldn't tell you I was scared. I remember when I got on the board, it was 7 white bodies on there. Men, that. I walked in the room, I said, I can handle all you good old boys. And I mean that literally. And it felt good. You know, I try to have a sense of humor no matter what I go through. This process, you know, this lady named Barbara Rodriguez, she's no longer here. She sponsored me and helped a wretch like me for 15 years. She said, have a sense of humor. Don't take yourself so serious, Teresa. She said, you're either gonna laugh at it now, you're gonna laugh at it later. And so I still have even though I might be hurting, the book said act as if. That means as if it's gonna be all right, because it's already all right. You know, not fake it. You know, I did enough fake it. The book said act as if. So I act as, you know, that everything's gonna be all right. And then finally my spirit catch up with it. You know, it just be most days a lot of feeling. They got something in the step working guide, feeling versus doing. I'm doing good, I'm just feeling. Feel when you say, I didn't use because I didn't. It's getting easier with time. Sometimes these feelings just be so overwhelming. It don't say use joy, just kidding. You ain't no good. See, you see, you can't keep nobody. Da, 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 da. It tells me a whole lot. You get depressed. You know, I still got a disease. Tell me don't even bathe. You get the feeling, lay in the bed. Just don't bathe. And I got OCD and I just can't do it because I go to kitchen, you know. And I justify it, feel good. Ain't nobody coming to visit me. There's nobody in the house with me. So I'm the only one smelling me. I remember as a little girl, I'm the baby of 5. I had 3 brothers and there was 2 girls. And we lived in a little small country town, Covington, Georgia, Newton County. And, you know, I experienced like, cows was our play toy. You know, we would get in there, pastor and whoop the bull and whoop. We jump back over the fence. The Zoonin' bugs were my toy. You put a string on it and we would play with the bats. We would make dust off and we would throw rocks up in the air. Bats would come down with the rocks and we fall on the ground. They go over our heads. You know, those are the days that the era that I grew up in. So you hear that country in me, that Georgia, you know, but I'm a Southern country girl and I love my upbringing. It made me a part of who I am today. I didn't pick cotton, but I was in the cotton field with my mama, you know, and my dad, you know, he had this disease, which I didn't know. He had the disease of alcoholism. And so he did what he did. Now that I know, he did what he did. And I didn't know that. I was angry. And I believe my first drug was codependent. Because my 3 brothers had started getting older and they started challenging my father for beating my mother. And he would put them out one by one. But because I was the baby and I was his baby girl, I would always, if he make a move at my mom, I'd make a move at him. And so I became my mother protector. I felt like if I leave her, he was gonna kill her. Yeah. So I had to stay. They take me down to my grandmother's house to spend the night, and I would cry. I would just cry. They would whoop me. You gonna stay here? I said, no, I'm not. I would throw up. I would just, because that vision in my head, if I'm not with my mother, he's gonna kill her. So on a little girl to feel that, and they would finally take me back to her. And I said, you safe, Mom? You safe? So I found the alcohol drug. My dad introduced me to homebrew. And me and my sister, we was walking around and I got addicted to that. You know, I liked that, addicted. We were growing up and everything. My sister, I never want to drink that stuff again. The next day I was like, Daddy, could you give me some more? And I remember I was trying to get out of myself, but it got easier. The codependent, I'm telling you, I say, it got easier for me to leave my mother now. I found something to fix that feeling, what I was feeling, numb that feeling where I wasn't afraid. It wasn't courage, it was false courage. And I could go down to my grandmother because she had the alcohol drug. She was selling it. And I would teach my cousin them how I would go up under there and drink it and put water back in it early on. So I was able to stay there. And as time went on, I don't know what happened. I had some dreams and I had some aspirations. They asked me what I wanted to be. And I said, I want to be a doctor. You know, but some kind of way as life went on, my mom left my dad after 19 years and we moved to Atlanta. I never seen so many lights. You could have thought I was in Las Vegas. I said, I was going to the 7th grade. And I said, Mom. And I remember acting out. My mother didn't know it, you know. I was in school acting out, being bad. They give me a paper. I wouldn't take it home to my mother. I would sign her name. And that went on, 8th and 9th grade. I was a little chubby. I didn't feel good about myself. I got in the 9th grade. I started feeling myself. So I didn't want to eat that much and I wanted to lose the weight. And I found myself being attracted to women. But I was so afraid of what society and my family thought, I wouldn't tell nobody and I wouldn't act out on it. But again, alcohol, drug helped me with that feeling. It helped me to numb that feeling. I felt like I didn't have nobody to talk to. And I would listen at them and hear what they would say about people that was acting out in that behavior. And I said, I can't tell them that. So as I went on, I stuffed the feeling with alcohol, drugs. You know, it was sociable. I was getting in my car and I would go home and I would park my car and I wake up the next morning and I said, where's my car? I was in blackout, early on blackout. Then we thought it was funny. As family members, we would laugh about it. And I could have killed somebody, killed myself. But we thought it was fun. We laughed about it, you know. And as time went on, you know, my oldest brother, he passed away. And he called me over to his house and he was like, sniff this. He told me what it was gonna do, it was gonna drain and da da da. I did it. So that's pretty cool, bro. Pretty cool, but we don't know when we don't cross that line. See, I was the type of person I'd try anything once.
Yeah, at least.
And so that feeling, but I went, it was a long time before I acted out. You know, I fell in love, this guy. You know, he was the first guy I ever dealt with and I failed. You know, nobody never talked to me about, you're gonna get administration. When it came, I thought I had cut myself. My sister, you know, my sister gave me the tampon, I put the whole thing up there. You know, back in that day, they pushed everything up out of the rug and they never really talked about it. So that's the era, and they did the best they can. You know, I know today that they did the best they can. And so no one told me to put on a condom. You know, he dated me for over a year before we, you know, but they didn't say, and I'm in the 12th, I was going to the 12th grade. And we did it and I got pregnant. And I remember telling the principal, if I don't graduate, I've been with these people from the 7th grade to the 12th. I don't graduate now, I don't think I'm gonna get another chance. So he said, hey, this is what I tell you. You're gonna miss your whole 2nd quarter of school, but when you get back, you take your 2nd quarter exam and you can move on to your 3rd quarter and you can walk. And I did that. My oldest son was at my graduation. And you know, when life went on, I started feeling good about myself because now I'm in love. I got somebody. I don't win in. You know what I'm saying? I told my mama, he God. She said, no, don't put all your trust in man, baby. I said, no, mama, he God. I would have had 13 babies by then. Oh. You know, and that thing that God gave you, I know what the best. And I tell people today, it wasn't ways down that I decided I didn't want to be with men. It was a lot had to do with waist up, you know, and you know, and I had to do some soul searching in here, do some step work. Sexual identity crisis. You know, I don't know, when I first crossed that line and allowed this first lady to do me, I don't know what she did me. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I started bopping. And I do looking at me, see me. What's going on with you? I don't, you know, What you gonna tell me? They didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't tell them. And as life went on, and I went through this process with my sponsor, and she helped me. I said, I like that little girl in me. I like that giggly femininity. I like lipstick. I don't know what happened. And we went on this journey, and I started doing this four step. Solving through the contradiction and the confusion of my life to find out who I really was. And I realized God looked at me, whatever I put on, however I was this body, but I was the spirit inside this body. And I realized I was hanging out with some people that was going to the men's shop, and I remember I said, I'm not wearing no more men's clothes. I'm giving away the one I got, and I started putting on my lipstick, and they called me a faggot. And I was like, what? And I remember this guy telling me one day, I was down in Hilton Head at a convention. He said, you're gonna be the bridge for a lot of ladies. And as I look around in my area in North Atlanta and Midtown area where I come from, I see a lot of ladies toning down a little bit. And they whisper and they call me. They said, where do you shop? And they toning down, they getting in touch with their sexuality. Whatever you want to wear, that's you. I'm not the judge and the jury. But I just told them my journey. And they started looking into their own self. And, and getting back to that very first boyfriend, he cheated on me. That God cheated on me. With my first cousin. She was younger than me, and she told me don't tell nobody, and I didn't tell nobody. And she backdoored and went and told the family member how she wanted to tell it. And then we would have family gathering. I was feeling, I don't know why, I began to feel guilty. I mean, I know I'm fine now, but I was drop dead gorgeous. I mean, dead gorgeous. This was a little country boy. I probably wouldn't have looked at him twice, but I was in love. And his heart, the matter of the heart, you can't tell it what to do. And I probably could have had anybody I want, but when I'm in love, I love you. I'm looking at you. When Trump came into play, to get the next, you can look like, as long as you got the money and the drugs, come on, baby. Those values, I had them, and I think a lot of it came from my mother. She was so faithful and committed and so passive, and I had a lot of that. And then, but I remember the alcohol, drug, I could see how it was pressing my daddy, and then I became, and so it was learned behavior. I'm watching him. He was turning me on. He tell my mother, shut up, and she shut up. I tried telling them, shut up. They wouldn't shut up. It don't work. It just didn't work for me. And so I did a lot of, acting out on my feelings. And even when I got clean, I was just telling myself, see, I got a lot of battle scars clean. I mean, physically, mentally, emotions, most of my battle scars has been clean. And I didn't realize that, like they said, the movie, the reenactment is the same. The name has changed to protect the innocent. Yes. And it flipped over to a woman, but I still acted the same way like I did when I was with the man. Yes. The insecurity. Even though I was drop dead gorgeous on the outside, I was this shaky, insecure little girl. Yes. Didn't feel good about me, saying yes when I wanted to say no. Once I gave you my heart, I didn't know what to do. I did everything to keep you, but you left me anyway. I compromised. I got rid of my baby for somebody in the name of in love. I was in my trimester. My baby was moving. I could feel my baby. I just named her last year. To make me be I named her True. And I told her I love you, True, and please forgive me.
Yes.
But I did that because of somebody else loving you and losing me.
That's right.
I did that in the name of love. They didn't want me to have that baby. And we were tricky. And it was a white body baby. Imagine how beautiful. Had a mind like me. True. She all right though. And that's my journey. And I was able to forgive myself. That was something that was still gut wrenching 33 years later in me. I cringed. I said, you was a murderer. You murdered your baby. True. Now I didn't murder my baby. Her name is True.
That's right.
And that's what step work could do. That's what step work could do. I'm back into the step. I'm back in writing the steps again. That's what step work could do. Is keep on solve through the contradiction of the confusion of your life to find out who you really are. I'm in love again. It's complicated. It is complicated. It's been grueling. You know, December the 10th, I turned 33 years clean. December 11, I was sitting at a light. Car ran behind me into my van, pit me into another car, broke bones all in my hand. I had to have surgery. I couldn't even wash my own back. And I was in this house and I'm feeling sorry for myself. See if I had somebody, they could wash my back. See, you ain't shit, Teresa. No, just live it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, you a lie. You a lie. They want me to get me by myself. I want to counsel, book study, step study. I don't want to sponsor no get old. I need to just do me because they want to separate me from you all. I said, thank you for sharing. And I got busy. Some more. And I got a praying sponsee family. They pray with me. They share with me. I know you can pray in any position, but it's something about getting on your knees. That means humbling yourself. Whatever your will is, that's a tall order. Praying only for knowledge of your will and the power to carry it out. That's a tall order. That means I can't put a finger, I can't dial a number. I hung up, I suited up. I was at a function. I had a great time. Soon as I left the function, the disease said, go this way. Take a ride up to Lawrenceville. I said, okay, I answered that time. I started riding. It was so many blue lights and traffic was back. Kind of ways. I made a U-turn. I said, let me take my butt to Snellville. See, and that's because I pray. I ask my God every day, do for me what I cannot do for myself. I said, sometimes it's gonna fall. We to whatever I want to do. Do me. Myself. God, you know, oh my God, you know, oh, really, you know, I was in a relationship for 13 years before this in love. And you know, they did what they did. You know, they realized they didn't want to be one of us. And so I stayed single for 5 years. I didn't do nothing. I didn't even do myself. And so, you know, you know, and I felt like I was ready, you know, and people like Benji always say, open yourself to love. I believe in love. Even when I go through what I go through, I'm not a hater, I'm congratulating. I'm not gonna tell nobody because I'm going through something, you know, and they bring their stuff to me, and because they might be going something in their relationship, I'm gonna put some nasty on it, you know, like leave them up. Because I'm feeling the way I'm feeling because my relationship is not working out the way I believe in love. And when you say you love or you going through what you're going through, it can be a very painful. We got to work. We got to work for whatever work has. And I'm willing to do the work, but sometimes the other person might be not willing. And then I stop being so self-centered that is, oh, you can do this to me. All I'm done for you. And I let them off the hook, and I can let myself off the hook. And I'm learning that through step work, through praying, through meditation. And so I let, you know, the 13 years off the hook. You know, it's some people that you can be friends with once you've been in a relationship with. And sometimes I choose not. You know, and I don't lie to myself. I just don't lie to myself. You know, I be totally honest. I need people around me got my back. I don't want to feel like I can lay $20 down and I turn my back and you're going to pick. And ain't nobody in the room with you and I. And you go, I don't know what happened to your $20. So I don't want to keep those people around me. It have to put you in such a position that, yeah, you here, but I can't bring you into here because I can't trust you that you got my best interest. And it's not that I don't want the best for you. I want for you myself. I'm not mad with nobody. I just went through an experience yesterday that a situation happened. It wasn't an angry situation, but we wasn't speaking. And I was the bigger person. I went to them at this convention. And they were like, oh, the honeymoon over. I said, that has nothing to do with that. It's that I don't want to walk past you and not just hug you or speak to you. And we hugged. And I freed myself. Right. And I got one more person that with that, but they angry. They want to come at like they want to fight. So hey, I might well let them be where they at and I'm gonna be running. And I've been knowing them for 20-some years. And so I don't know where, like again, I'm not taking it personal. Might be something going on with them. I know it has nothing to do with me. So that's what recovery has taught me. You know, the growth process. You know, I got 3 sons. They 45, 37, and 36. And I remember having like about 7 years clean, probably going on 8. My oldest son, you know, he was doing some things, acting out. And I I used with my two youngest sons, but when I got clean, my oldest son was like 12, they were like 12, 3, and 4. And he got a chance to kind of see, like, come home and the refrigerator empty. I forget him on the doorstep. I get home, when he get home from school, I get back home, it's like 9 o'clock. He's sitting on the step with tears rolling down his eyes, but he don't say it. So he experienced that. So when he started acting out, of course, the guilt started coming in, and he's acting out because of my addiction. And when he was 19 years old, he took a 15-minute decision, and it cost him like 7 years, 2 months, and 26 days of his life in prison. And I basically like went through some pain, and I was during that time, the first time felony movement was out. I said, they down there raping my son, they just doing this and doing that. I just can't take it, God, you got to show me a sign. You know, and I hadn't heard from him. And he called, he said, Mom, I'm a man. I'm a man. I did what I did, and I'm gonna do what I do, Mom. And you all told me, like, you got to stay clean. You got to stay sound. Where when he get out, he can have a house. You got resources to help. And he got out in 2004. He lived with me. I said, for 6 months, I'm gonna give you 6 months. If I eat, you eat. He taught me I didn't eat pork. He didn't eat pork. I stopped eating pork. And I had a job for it. And you know, from this day, he got a bachelor's degree, got his own business. He never been there. Again, you know what I'm saying? And we you know, we got a good relationship, you know, and it took me talking to them like talking to you all, being vulnerable, being transparent, let them know I hurt, you know, and I got a baby boy, I used with him, my middle son, my disease, I don't know. You know, I told you the alcohol, drug, but back in 85, I tried the Ready Rock. 86, I was in treatment. And my family thought I had a problem. I was pregnant. And, you know, I had this sugar daddy, old man, he was good enabler. He said, the drugs ain't hurting the baby. I said, what you think? But he would give me the money, you know, he 56, I'm 25, 26, you know, and it was just insane. And they was moving in my stomach, but I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. Stop. I had lost my mind. And then I get pregnant again, 87. Then a year I had a good mother. She took care of me. She fed me vegetables and gallons of milk. I would go in the refrigerator and turn it up and drink it all. You know, and they stayed healthy because of that. They didn't come out drug induced or tested positive for drugs. You know, but I know that I did something to her. I did. And my baby boy, he's like a mirror. He is so much like his mother. Oh God, he's just a male and I'm a female. But he talked to me the way I used to talk to my mother. He don't have no filter. And I was like, boy, you better be glad you're on the phone. Because I was close to you. I put some hickories on your head. I used to have this big old stick. And he's like, Mom, you gonna hit me? I said, if I can catch you. But I had to learn and grow up in here. What was working back in the days don't work now. You know, I had the mentality, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. You know, and I had a sponsor that she had teenage kids and mine was smaller. And she said, listen, when they get older, they're going to tell you what they feel. It might not might not feel good, but you're gonna have to listen at how they feel. They don't come to you and they gonna share things with you, gonna hurt your feelings. They had me in the room crying so many days. But I growed up and I learned how to communicate with them, be open-minded, let them be honest. Yeah. And I was honest with them. You know, I had a son that he used to share with. I thought we had the best relationship, the middle son. And I remember he went a whole year and he wouldn't pick up the phone for me. He was out of town in New York. He was going through his transition. It was really what he was doing was faking it with me. And we was able to get real, and I cried, and he shared some things with me. He shared some things that he felt I did. I put too much expectations on him. And I told him, I'm sorry. If you just flip burgers, you cool with me, guys. But I did put it on him. I wanted him to be this, and I put these high expectations so he felt like he was letting me down. And he went through a lot. And now we got a great relationship, all three of us. When I broke my arm, I went to live with him for 3 weeks. They all came over there. We played poker. I got toys. I used to make them play cards with me when they want to go to bed. You gonna play cards till I'm finished. Get that hand, get them cards. So they always laugh, and they laugh about you all. Let's have a meeting, mama. You know. They was raised up in here. And they do what they do. It ain't none of my business. You know, they try to be respectable. All three of them smoke Bob Marley, you know, and they try to be, and my middle son, you know, he's the most respectable one. He goes out, they go up on the roof, do what they do. He come back, put all this cologne and mouthwash on. I said, you give me yourself away from the You all right, mommy? I said, I won't be all right if I put it in my system. I'm all right, son. Do what you're doing. Hope you're doing okay. You know, and I share my experience, strength, and hope. I don't have the right to tell nobody that they got a problem. I've got to tell myself that I lost the right to use anything. And this has been a good journey. I'm relaxed a little bit now. I ain't got to pee. Yes, you know, and wow, Benji. Wow, Joy. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, you know, and I remember, you know, you know, I know that I hadn't arrived. I still be making mistakes, the same mistake. I remember filing bankruptcy before I got here. When I got to Narcotics Anonymous, almost filing again. And I remember in 2020, you know, the pandemic, I had this business, and I shut the whole thing. I got COVID, everything shut down. And I was like, I'm selling the house. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna get in a townhouse apartment, and try to get an apartment. They went. I scored behind you. I didn't want to tell nobody. You know, you be up here. But I always tell you about my truth because that helped me get better. It helped me to get better. You know, let myself off the hook. You are human. You're having a spiritual experience, and you ain't walking on water, Teresa. I don't care how spiritual you are. You do try to treat people right. You're a good person. That's right. You're a good person. Yeah. But still, you don't graduate. It's still gonna be something you got to do. Some more work to do. So I said, oh God, I tried to live with complicated. You know. And that didn't work out. So I ended up finding myself in an Airbnb, paying $2,500, $2,600 a month. It's getting away all my money. I got all this money. It's getting away all my money. And I humbled myself, paid them people. And I never forget when I could fill out an application and they say, you approved. I said, thank you, Doc. And I got me an apartment and I started cleaning up other people's dog boo-boo and I didn't even have a dog. I said, no, the apartments and the townhouse is not for me. I need me another house, God. And I was able to get me another house, you know, through God's grace and mercy. And that's been, you know, in my credit. And when the lady ran my credit, she said, you actually can buy another house. I said, baby, I don't want another one. I don't want to buy another. When something break down, I want to be able to call somebody to fix it. I don't need that stress. I want to travel. I want to look good, feel good, do good. And I retire. Starting this month, I'm retiring from everything. I don't want to take care of nobody no more. I want to take care of me for a while and do what I want to do. You know I look 26, but I'm 62. And you know, and I feel pretty good. You know, I've been fighting. They said I had about 4 or 5 budding discs from the accident, and 4 or 5 in my bag, and spine pressing on my spine. I was just focusing on his hand. That was the grueling pain, you know. And they tell me don't say drug, but I was on that medicine. And I, you know, I try to be a model and don't want to take it, you know what I'm saying? And that thing, it was doing pretty good. About 4 or 5 days, I took it out for surgery. I went back to get the stitches out. They didn't take the pins out. So he said, the doctor said, that thing got the cook down in there. Baby, you talking about burning and cooking? Every 6 hours, I had the pill in my hand. Food, no water. God, if I ever teach, I teach you right there. And then I'm talking about, and then the grueling process, getting the pins, and I only about do this. And my OT told me my fingers is the painful body part. So they're working with me to get the movement like this, and it's painful, muscle spasm, but I'm grateful. I have a hand. It wasn't my right hand, it was my left hand. You know, I got a lot of things to be grateful for. They say humility and gratitude can take you to anything. You know, humbling myself. You know, and in the end, I'm gonna get a boatload of money. Wow. They told me I had like an hour and a half. I don't know what making no hour and a half. Wait a minute. Ooh, wait. But I don't want to tell no lies, Laverne. You know, I got so many. Yeah. I'll tell this a joke. I usually share it at the end, but I'll share it now. That made me break the ice a little bit. It was some people in the desert, right? And it kind of reminded me of my recovery process. These people's in the desert, and they had this donkey, right? And they were walking this donkey across the desert, and they met this other group of people. They said, why y'all walking this donkey? You should be riding this donkey. So they got on the donkey and they started riding the donkey. They went on a little bit ways down the road and they said, the people said, well, why y'all riding that poor donkey? You should be toting that donkey. So they started toting the donkey and they had the donkey like this, had the donkey, and the donkey fell down the cliff. The moral of this story, trying to do what everybody wants you to do, you'll lose your ass. So I stopped trying to do what everybody wants. I came in here, sweet tea, running around. And running myself, and I'm getting older, I used to run up to people now, and now what I do in my heart, I got to sit down a little bit now. It's not that I don't want to get up and hug you, but I say sometimes you can come to me and hug me. Run all the way. Then not because I'm saying I'm old, I'm older. Everything in Atlanta, every weekend is something possible, something in recovery. And if I do everything somebody else wants me to do, I won't do it. I had 3 sons, and sometimes they have events, they want me to support them. I remember this guy, he's no longer here. I used to be, for the first 5 years, I was running at the Holland Club. I would cook food. My son, I said, feed the boys, I'll be back. And I was at the every booty party, everything. And he said, he was at the door, he said, you letting us get to know you, but when the boys gonna get to know you? That's right. I said, he need to mind his own business, but he put that seed in me. And I was able to sit at home one whole weekend and found out my son was singing. I thought he was just in the shower hollering. I still all that hollering. And he could sing for real. He made money singing. And I took time to get to know them and they get to know me. I know I have to continue going to meetings to be a better mother. I was a better daughter to my mother. My mother got a chance to see me 17 years clean. All right. And I told you it was 5 of us, and I was the black sheep. I walk in the house, my mama get a purse, she put it up under. I would come in the house, I said, can I take a bath? And she had a Clorox bottle when I get to you. Look like a dog. She got sick. Guess who she wanted to live with? She said, I know you take care of me. And I wanted her cuckoo. I wanted somebody to feed the rug. He said, hey, your mama feet, rub her feet. You know what I'm saying? He put her in place for me. And she transitioned. And I didn't hold no guilt or shame. And she would come to the meeting, she would come to the celebration. She'd be like, oh, Lord. One day I told my story, and she was, she'd go to church, and she always was very verbal at church. And I was up there sharing. She said, oh, that's me. And he hit her, he pierced her. The what goes touches to her. Listen with your heart, not with your mind. They said so, and sometimes you got to stop thinking. That's why they said so. Spiritual, emotional, physical disease, because we got to stop even thinking about doing negative. Because if you thinking it says in another fellowship, what you think, so is it. That's right. You got to start to change your thought pattern, because everything starts with a thought. I mean, and the thought said, hit you, slap you. Then it goes on down to my hands. It keeps up. You done before. I've had many things. People used to call me a bitch. That was my word. They didn't call me a bitch. I was a bitch. That's right. It starts with me. How I react. You leave. You, I don't act out. I got jail clean story. Bullying. It's so serious. That's right. No feeling. With 33 years clean. No feeling. They put me in compulsion sometimes. No feeling. I'm telling you. It's not, you tell me don't tell nobody. You can handle this. Now, oh, somebody miss Fussy, and I share. Open up. I tell them exactly. I try. I saw myself. And I don't act. I don't play myself. Lucky baby. Feel it to me so cool. Love you, Teresa. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I have to stay honest with me. Whether I be honest with you all, I have to really be honest with me. And then I can be honest with you all. And most of the time, I don't want to tell y'all. Most of the time, it makes me vulnerable. It makes me so transparent. But it helps me to get better. It makes me be the person that I am today. Standing here, I told somebody the last couple of years, I'm so good, I wish I could date myself. That's a good feeling when you don't really need somebody else to tell you that you're trying to do the right thing. That's gonna be the point of God. Look, take the right. God be in my recovery. And I'm disrespectful because I'm doing what I need to do. I'm going to me. I'm working council. I'm calling people. I'm praying. I'm helping somebody. I'm helping a whole lot of people. He gives me, I found out he gives me gifts to be able to help the community to do things, not just him. I help the community. I go to Tipton, Georgia, and help some people that line be long and they be crying and they say, thank you, thank you, thank you. But look, I heard somebody say it last night that it's got givers and takers. When you give, you never want for nothing. You never want for nothing. And I ain't just the first one doing it. I watch. I got some examples that help people. I know the trickster too. But sometimes even if you're tricking me, that's on you. It's still on you, right? It's still on you. If I'm able to do it. You know, someone came to me and wanted me to let them borrow a substantial amount of money. I called my sponsor. Then I prayed. Y'all told me long years ago, if I can't afford to lose it, don't give it, because that's going to be the biggest resentment. That's right. Biggest resentment. So I told him it was too much money. That's right. He said, thank you for considering. You know, and so that's how I live my life. That's how I live my life today. People have helped me. You know, I remember getting out of that 13-year relationship, and man, I mean, we had one of them like Al Capone houses, way up there in Alpharetta, had a business making $300-400. It was like, I thought we were selling drugs, $300,000-400,000 a year, and traveling everywhere. And things changed. Like I say, they no longer want to be a part of it. And I went back, you know, she said, go on back to your regular house. But when I got there and laid in that room, I had more peace than I had up there in the house. I didn't have no flat, during that time, I didn't have no flat screen TV, but that little box TV showed the same thing that flat screen showed. And I had some peace of mind. And I said, God, I think I had about 25 years clean. I was in there, 300 tests there, I'd be in the room whispering, scared. You know, how did I get here again, God? And I know, you know, I told a lot of people that what you can do this, surrender. Surrender, just surrender. Bo was sponsoring me then. You know, and I said, just surrender. Y'all told me you got to let all that stuff go for your peace of mind. Yeah. Man, I mean, and he said, you started one business, you can start another one. Right. I've started so many businesses and things that's calm and like I said, I got a high school education, some college, but I got some street knowledge is back. The same way I God came to me a year or two ago, and he was like, I heard you with this, and we sit there, we didn't even grab no paper, we shook hands. He's my cousin, we shook hands, young guy. Man, he's been the biggest blessing to me, the biggest blessing. I didn't even go out there searching for it. I'm laying back on, resting on my Lord. I wasn't trying to make nothing happen. Don't be too anxious for anything. That's right. You know, and it just falls. It just fall in my lap. Yeah. The blessing. And it ain't just financial. I'm talking about my health and my strength, what I just went through. I can get in that exercise room again. You know what I'm saying? I was hurting, so hurting. Then they said, what hurt you? I said, my booty hurt and everything hurt. I was hurting, man, because you know, I'm older and an impact like that, it messes with everything. And then when I'm not feeling well physical, it messes with my spiritual, everything mental. You get old, it's over, Teresa. Always tell me it's over. It's over. You ain't gonna get it. It's over. And it gets better. It gets better. I'm talking about getting better, even with the complicated. I never thought I knew love like that again. What I experienced, I had never experienced before. So you got to just be patient, let yourself up to it. Because the disease, that's what it do. It try to be negative and tell you negative thoughts about myself. It always trying to tell me something negative. And I put affirmation, I am enough. Yeah. I love myself today. Beautiful. You know, I'm respectable. I walk with dignity. You know, I had to remind myself over and over those things. That's like I had to come to me over and over. I got to build in forgiver. I was going through what I was going through, and my sponsor said, read the third step. I read the third step so many times. It was dropping down in my spirit. It's a word to spirit. We can intellect, but when they get internal, this is a way of living, the way I live. That's something I say. Feel it, Teresa, feel it, feel it. And you might not have to be here again. You don't have to act if you feel it. So I feel it. I feel the abandonment. I feel the loss, and I put it in its proper place. I don't have to hurt. I don't have to feel so bad about you. I hurt myself. God is not checking with me who he taking out. The worst experience of someone getting out of here was my mom. And I thought I almost gonna lose my mind. But I got through that. I found my niece dead, my sister only child. And I thought I wanted to be in the room when they pulled the plug. I would never do that again. That was the worst experience of my life. But he's not checking me, my oldest brother, they found him. You know, people pass. I don't come in here and really share a lot. One of my cousins is missing right now. It's not good. He's been missing since the 23rd. When he left home, right after he left home, the house burnt down. He's partially paralyzed. Been very away the 23rd. It doesn't look good. No, nothing. But, you know, the power of prayer.
Yes, sir.
The power of prayer. It talks about it. They wrote this stuff before I even thought about coming to Narcotics Anonymous. They were talking about when they said animal level. I said, how did they know? Scar hat. The disease told me at the end of my road, it said put on a scar hat so you don't have to comb your hair. I bathed with the scar hat on. I did everything. I remember getting ready to go to treatment. I put a scar hat on with a big old ball spot. You know, air. You know, animal level. You know, I paid a high price on my back because I was afraid to do it. Then I started doing some illegal stuff when I got clean, dealing with y'all. I had to do it. So, but out there, I was like, you know, I used it. I got what you want, you know, and I paid. So I couldn't look you in your eye. I felt so bad about it. Low, they said low self-esteem, no self-esteem. I walked to him with diseases. They had to shoot me all at my butt to get it cured up. Because I slept with Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sue, Sally, Mary. All that, if you have it, and at the end of I want it. That's how it was for me. I had a hard time. I told you I didn't look like this. I didn't smell. As I'm screaming, I had lost my mind. And my family, my mama, they did not understand. I didn't even understand. I brought these kids in the world, and I wasn't a mama. Thank God for my mother. I gave her help. When she would take care of my kids, I would look at her and she would make me, I would see my guilt and my shame. So I get her help. You know, just because I'm guilty, because she's doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes. I remember back then they used to get on paper food stamp, right? My mama went and got the paper food stamp for me and did this, and they scammed her. She come out the post office, she got in the car with the guy. She was scared, and they stole it all. I said, you sure ain't got it? I mean, I wasn't even concerned about her. I want a food stamp. She won't give me a little bit of them, keep a little bit. So, you know, to live the way I'm living today is amazing. I like to thank you all for being here. And God got more. Thank you.
Oh, shit. What way to shut it down?
Right. Yes, all right.
Thank you, Teresa. I'd like to thank all the speakers that spoke this weekend. Hank, Jimmy Dan, Annie just left. We had 85 people doing workshops and chairs, and we only had to fill in 2, right? Everybody showed up and showed out. Thank you. That's it, thanks, we have the skull cap, those last, the pair of glasses still here. Sorry. Oh, you can't see it because you're missing your glasses?
Hey, I have a question. So we had a spiritual principle of the day book at the desk up front at the lobby, and it was actually Teresa's gift, and we had signed it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So did anybody see that? Please. Because we're gonna do it again, right? We can get a book and we can sign it again. But if anybody saw it, did anybody see it? Do you return it? I mean, if somebody stole it, then they needed it. And we all signed it. But we can get her one, so I don't know if anybody saw it. All right, thank you.
Let's start now.
One left in NA history, we didn't look, I didn't look inside of it to see if there was.
Up there at the front, yeah. We're gonna go to lunch and I'll sign it.
Sir.
I think somebody took it.
So.
We're gonna close it with a moment of silence for the sick and suffering addict, inside and out, and the ones that didn't make it. Followed by the we version, serenity prayer. God. Grant us
That's for the cake.
Get a photo of the speakers. We want a photo of the speaker, so you look to the right. We'll get the other. That's okay.
Bye.
I'll call you. Address, I'll give you. It's like. I love you.